back, everybody. What are you doing over there? Doing over there? Welcome back, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest tonight has worked in government for nearly 30 years and currently serves as our 71st Secretary of State. Please welcome Secretary Antony Blinken. Thank you for being here. I don't take this lightly. You don't get a Secretary of State on a late-night show every day. Have you done many of these?
This is the first one.
This is the first one?
It is.
You're going to love it. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit later about basically the State Department in general. I think people misunderstand its mission often and how important it is. But the first thing I want to talk to you about is that you're the most informed person right now I could talk to about what's going on in the war in Ukraine. But before I ask you my questions, what would you like people to know about what the state of that conflict is right now?
Stephen, this is day 82 of what was an unprovoked, unjustified aggression by Russia against Ukraine. And I think what the world already knows is we've seen the remarkable courage, resiliency of the Ukrainian people. Overmatched.
Everyone said 3 or 4 days and it would be over. Everyone thought it would be over in 3 or 4 days.
There was a lot of expectation that that might happen, but because of their courage, because of their resilience, but also because of the assistance that we've been able to provide them with dozens of other countries, they've not only held their ground, they've been pushing the Russians back. They won the battle for Kyiv. Now, there's an intense fight going on in eastern and southern Ukraine. And the other thing is, the country's been terribly brutalized by this Russian aggression. You know, we had that, the town of Bucha near Kyiv. Russians moved out. When that tide receded, we saw what was left in its wake. And I'm afraid that as that happens in other parts of Ukraine, we'll see it. But the most important thing is this. 82 days in, the Ukrainians are standing up for their freedom. They're standing up for their sovereignty. They have so much of the world with them. And here's what I can tell you. What Vladimir Putin was trying to do was to take away their independence, their sovereignty. In his mind, Ukraine is not an independent country. It needs to be subsumed into Russia. That's what this is about. And what I think we can say with a lot of certainty and conviction is that a sovereign, independent Ukraine is going to be around a lot longer than Vladimir Putin's on the scene.
Now, you were one of the first people to actually brief Zelensky before the war ever started about the likelihood of this invasion. You were first to warn the public on behalf of the administration of what might be going over there. You're now leading the U.S. efforts to have a joint response from NATO countries and set the tone for the entire world. All of that seems like the right thing to do. One thing that worries me, however right I think the fight for the Ukrainians is there a chance that this could tip over to a hot war with Russia? Because certainly Putin and all of the people in his circle have said they consider this a hot war with the West, whether or not we want to call it that. So how do you make sure that that doesn't happen?
You know, Stephen, the president's been very clear about this, about what this is and what it isn't. And what it isn't a war with Russia. This is the United States.
Not a proxy war.
And it's not a proxy war. It's about us giving the Ukrainians the help that they need to defend themselves, to stop the aggression, to hold on to their freedom, to hold on to their sovereignty. That's what we're doing. And we're also putting pressure on Russia to try to get it to stop the aggression. We have sanctions that we've been leading with dozens of other countries that are making life pretty difficult for the Russians. You know, more than 800 companies, biggest brand names in the world, have left Russia because they don't want the reputational cost of doing business there, given this aggression. That's having a real impact.
Now, we see reports about the fall of Mariupol, and the Ukrainian fighters put up a fierce resistance there. Now that that city And is that accurate, that Mariupol has fallen to the Russians?
Russians have taken Mariupol.
What does that mean to the Russian efforts now?
The fight now is, after the Russians got pushed back from Kyiv and around Kyiv and from northern Ukraine and parts of western Ukraine, this has moved all the way east and all the way south, pretty near Russia itself. And that's what they're fighting over. And again, as I said, what's so heartbreaking about this is when the world actually sees what's happened in Mariupol, which it will one day. I'm afraid the pictures that we've seen coming out of Bucha a couple of months ago are going to be nothing by comparison. So this is why I think people, and the American people, have been incredibly generous, because through Congress, so much support given to the Ukrainians, because I think it is touching people's hearts. They're seeing a big country aggress a small one. They're seeing one country try to change the borders of another by force. They're seeing one country try to say to another country, we're going to decide what your future is going to be, not you. And we can't have a world that works that way.
And there's a bipartisan response, which is
This has been remarkable.
Unusual these days.
Well,
anything that anyone can agree on.
It's been remarkable.
Part of Putin's motivation for the war, as you know, as I see in the reporting, that part of Putin's motivation for the war is to weaken NATO. Now, this week is Monday and then Tuesday, Finland and then Sweden sign the applications. Is Putin himself the greatest advertisement for NATO in a generation?
If I was going to have a poster for, what's remarkable is when you look at this, Stephen, President Putin has managed to precipitate everything he sought to prevent. He wanted to prevent NATO from getting bigger with Ukraine. Now it actually is with Finland and with Sweden. He wanted to divide the West, divide the alliance. It's more united than it's ever been. And as I said, he wanted to subjugate Ukraine, make it part of Russia. That is not going to happen. So everything we're seeing is Putin achieving the exact opposite of what he says he wants.
Now, my buddy, Pope Francis, has said that NATO takes some blame for this by basically stressing out Russia by expanding east up against Russia's borders. Do you think he's got a case?
So NATO...
He's the Pope. He's the Pope.
And I have great reverence for him. I had the... now, he told me that you were very close when I saw him.
Thank you.
Great reverence for him, but let me say this. NATO is a defensive alliance. Countries coming together to make sure that if one of them was attacked, all the others would come in and defend that country. That's what it's about. It has no aggressive intent against Russia. It's never attacked Russia. It won't attack Russia. It doesn't intend to attack Russia.
I've got a crazy idea. Invite Russia to be part of NATO.
Well,
because then what's he got to be worried about?
You know what? Back in the 1990s, that was actually something that people talked about.
And?
Well, Russians decided that wasn't what they wanted to do.
Okay. We have to take a quick break, but when we come back, I will ask the Secretary about what Zelensky is like in person. Stick around.